What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Z-Man Show. Walking Dead Night. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Episode 19 called Variant. Guys, I'm telling you, I've been waiting so long for them to do something a little bit different with the zombies. I mean, let's face it, we've gotten to know the zombies and love, what they do and how they work and so forth. But, I mean, it's gotten a little stale, unfortunately, after 11 seasons. But here's my thing, though. Why now? I mean, we're within, six so episodes till the end, but yet now we have this new variant style. And Aaron talks about, yeah, I had heard stories about walkers who could open up doors and climb things, whatever like that, but just didn't know if it was true. Well, Aaron, you think you might want to share that with the rest of the crowd because we sure as hell didn't know anything about it, nor have we ever heard. So I don't like how they're trying to treat us not like idiots, but it kind of feels like that way, right? Kind of like, oh, well, clearly, yeah. I mean, there's walkers that can do that because there's different versions. We've never seen that. I mean, sure, we've seen them do some weird things like how way they gather and so forth and how they move in herds. That's always been kind of a mystery, and it made sense. This one, not so much, but it is very cool because it ups the stakes totally. I mean, those damn things were climbing over walls. The only thing I can't figure is out how so many of them got over that wall to that Renaissance fair little plaza thing or whatever. But I mean, clearly they did, and those looks on Lydia and Aaron's faces when they were finally coming out in the masses, and I was like, yeah, this is a problem. You guys better get going super quick. And poor Jerry being wounded after that goofball move, trying to move the wagon through the forest. And anywho's, that one's climbing up and actually picks up a rock like it's gonna like maybe use it to bash Jerry's head or something like that. Now that was some crazy stuff. But again, not enough episodes left to truly, I feel, I mean, yeah, we're gonna get a taste of it, but is it enough? Now, I wonder though, I stopped myself there because now my brain's thinking. We know that Daryl's going over to Europe, right? At least in his spinoff show, he's supposed to be. And we already saw that. Well, some of us had saw the scene at the very end of World Beyond season 2, where basically they're in that warehouse, and that lady, she's watching Dr. Jenner from the CDC back from episode 1. She's watching some video from him, and anyways, this guy comes in, speaks some stuff in French, but he's saying it's your people that caused this or blah blah. You're the reason this happened. Shoots her, kills her. He leaves, and then within moments, she is up, shambling like crazy over to the door and banging like crazy trying to get at it. I mean, definitely now that is a very advanced variant of this, and where maybe that's a taste of what Daryl's going to get when he gets over to Europe. How he's going to get over to Europe, a whole nother story. I digress. Back to this episode, but you see, this is kind of playing into it. Like, are they kind of setting up like the idea of, yes, there are different, not strains of the virus or whatever it is, the space spore or whatever the heck they finally said it was. I always like the idea of we just don't know where it came from. It's so much simpler just to be like, listen, it happened and now we're dealing with it. But you sure can't find a cure to something if you don't even know where it started from. So anyways, but yeah, it was just crazy. It was wild watching those walkers do that, and it brought a whole nother level of an intensity. Especially, I loved it because Aaron, of course, he immediately went to, the Whisperers. And I'm like, that makes sense, But clearly we're like, nah, these aren't Whisperers, man. And when he ripped that thing's face off, just to find that it was just the layer of dead skin over its bones or whatever, that was gnarly. Some really good gore in this one. Overall, pretty solid episode, guys. I mean, now, mind you, a little just thing, I got to call it out. The fact that I guess we saw Lydia, and I think is it Elijah? I think they jumped down because they were supposed to draw them away or whatever. And then the next morning we see that they're all dead. A little sloppy, if you ask me. I mean, we didn't see. I mean, how did they do that? I mean, there had to be 30 or plus walkers down there for 2 people. I mean, even if Aaron did get down there, Jerry couldn't have helped. And plus, Aaron probably didn't go down there because he probably had to protect Jerry from any more of them climbing up. So, really, 2 of them? Well, I mean, what, did they corral them? I mean, it just a little sloppy there. Obviously, it was for time reasons. I guess we'll give them a pass, maybe, or don't. But that's where that is. The other, I thought, really key conversations today, and I thought there was some good writing in there, too, tonight. Especially when Aaron was talking to Lydia about about how he missed on chances with his lover Eric, and how he told him no so many times, and basically telling her, don't wait. If you're going to love, then love. I get where he's coming from. I think it'd be super hard for me too as well to try and give into that time and time again, just to see that loved one die. I mean, that's got to do something to your mind, something awful. So Liddy's in a tough spot, but she finally did give in. I think it's Elijah. I think that's the guy she's fallen for, and so she kissed him, so they're on their way. We had also some story back around Eugene. I mean, this was mainly kind of his story here, and really it's setting him up. Man, Eugene might not make it through this, which I was in my mind, predicting a little bit, like, I don't think he's going to make it. He's probably on the chopping block. But all the blame is being put on Eugene, we saw. Max, I'm glad she didn't sign that document. I mean, that was jacked up. And the fact that Mercer is letting this go along, I know they're setting up the drama, but so far he's following Pamela Milton because he knows that she's ultimately threatening his sister, and he has to do whatever he can to save her. I mean, I get it. It just, man, you're really hoping to expect more out of this guy. But man, Max laid it on heavy on Mercer, saying Dad would be ashamed of you. He'd be proud of me for what I'm standing up for. He'd be ashamed of you. And then, you have Princess also laying it on thick on him too, which, again, Princess making sense. We get to see some really solid background story about her too. She used to be locked up by her stepdad and brother and beaten and all kinds of other sort of things. And so, yeah, it really makes sense to her character now. I wish we could have gotten a little more of this earlier on, but hey, it is what it is, and this is where we are. So I thought that was some pretty good conversation, and you can tell Mercer, he wants to do the right thing, but I do feel for the guy. It's not so cut and dry like, oh, Mercer, just get it done. No, it's not, because that means he's going to have to pretty much pull a coup and overthrow the Milton family, or pretty much just Pamela. She's the only one left now. That is not an easy task. What if his men don't follow him? It could put his life at risk as well. There's a lot riding on this. But he knows this place is jacked up. He just has to finally stand up and be like, no, I've had enough. And as for Pamela, she wants blood. We all know this. The fact that she kept Sebastian still downstairs, unmolested, stab him in the head or whatever like that, she let him turn. So we got another governor style on her hands. Can't let that family member go, which is a cool cool concept story. I always like that. But yeah, so she goes to see Lance, right, in the prison, and they have a little bit of a conversation. I always try to understand their relationship. The whole, when she puts his hand on his face or whatever, I'm like, did they have a sexual relationship or was it something different? I don't know. It's just very weird. Almost like mommy's here, but not, I don't know. Creepy. But she's letting Lance live, which was a very confusing scene, mind you, I want to throw out there. When she brought Sebastian in, some of the stormtrooper guys, and basically they brought the henchman guy in who killed. And that's another thing. How did Pam know that the henchman had killed several of the workers and unleashed them? I mean, how did she find that out, that was Lance's henchman? That maybe she thought, well, listen, these are only the dirty ones doing the work within this town. So that means she's just as dirty then. So she knows about these guys, and gals for that matter. We didn't see the chick. We only saw the dude. The one who faked to being Stephanie, right, with Eugene. So again, that was a little confusing, especially when she, like I said, when she was bringing in Sebastian, and I was like, okay, so she is gonna kill Lance, right? But then she didn't. She just dropped the dead henchman dude there, the bald guy with the beard, and she gave him a machete and said, "Feed my son." And so I guess, okay, so I assume Sebastian was tied up or something, so that I guess he could chop up the parts and give it to him, and then, I mean, he wouldn't have to defend himself from Sebastian. Again, I think we missed some material in there that could have given a little more context to the room setting in general and what was going on. Again, these are small things, but sometimes it just makes it confusing for the viewer. Let me know if you agree, or if not, if you got it. I'm not saying I didn't get it. I just thought it could have been done a little better, I guess is that. So overall, pretty solid episode though. I'd up this one maybe to about a 7.5 if I gave a score. Very watchable. The gore was solid. The drama's decent. Really setting up some problems here, because in the end, Eugene decides to give in. I mean, Daryl, when he stood up to Daryl and he's like, "Come on, you're gonna let me out that door or whatever," and Daryl's just like, "Really? We're gonna do this?" And of course Eugene stopped and called himself out as a coward and so forth. Listen, Eugene's got issues. This is for sure. The man's never experienced love in his life, and he finally has it. And now he doesn't want to let it go for anything. And let's face it, that's what true love probably really is. But it's going to mean his life. Does he truly understand this? I don't know. I don't know if Eugene's going to get another get out of jail free card here. He's had so many chances, and the fact that he's going to go back now for Max. In fact, he does. He did. He turns himself in, walks right in the office, and I almost felt kind of like a Seven moment, when Kevin Spacey walks through the door saying, "Detective," But yeah, they grab him quick, and then Mercer goes over, a couple questions, and Eugene confesses in full confession and says, "Take him." I believe Mercer's probably going to do the right thing eventually, but how this is going to unfold and the craziness that'll ensue, that is a whole other question. I mean, if Pam lets Lance out, Lord knows the havoc that dude's going to cause. Anyways, this isn't over. It's still gonna get nasty here. So, and furthermore, I want to know more about this variant. Like, is it gonna play a really big part in these episodes to come? I mean, are they gonna try and break into the Commonwealth and cause more havoc? Was that just one isolated little group that could do that? Anyways, a lot of questions. Hopefully we'll get some answers. Let me know how you liked the episode. Let me know if you have any thoughts on some of the big moments tonight. Are you tired of hearing Ezekiel's thing about wanting to stay with this place? I mean, let's face it, this place is no good. I mean, would you really stay there? I would not. I would be gone. Okay? I mean, unless I knew without a fact there was going to be a regime change, but really, is it going to be any better? I mean, it seems like whenever people come to power, something just gets corrupt. It just seems to go that way. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm going to actually have a review out this week on the new Halloween movie, Halloween Ends. Let me just give you a little foreshadowing that it's probably over. Or I'm sorry, it's probably good that it has ended. It was an interesting movie. I'm going to leave it there for that. If you want to know more, make sure to come out this week and watch the full review. So, thanks again for watching, y'all. I hope you have a great start of your week, and I will catch you at the next review. See you guys.